The first season of Dexter Resurrection has been much better than anyone could have expected so far, with the series changing the setting by taking the action to New York City. This has led to the audience following Harrison Morgan, who is beginning to crumble after murdering according to his father's code. Meanwhile, Dexter is back to his old murderous ways, but now he is beginning to feel, whether it be the pain of what he has done to his son or his desire to help people. At the end of the third episode, Dexter was on his way to a serial killer party. So what will happen in Call Me Red when he meets his potential new friends by pretending to be someone else?
Dexter meets serial killer fan Leon Prater.
As the episode begins, Dexter is sitting in the dark passenger's chair and wearing his hoodie. Harry doesn't want Dexter to go to the party, thinking it could be a trap, but Dexter is too excited to let it go. He even smiles as he says it's a dinner party for serial killers. He'll have to get the hosts to believe that he's red, but that's okay because he cut off the guy's thumb, peeled off the print, and glued it to his hand. Oh, Dexter. Harry tells Dexter to be careful, but he says, "I'm tired of being careful." Still, he brings a box cutter with him just in case. Wearing a hoodie and sunglasses, Dexter walks through Central Park, where he's picked up by Charlie and pretends to be Ronald Schmidt. Dex plays it calmly as he talks to Charlie and asks questions that she won't answer. She drives him to a mansion filled with high-priced cars in the parking lot. Who owns a place like this? Dexter admits that he has a box cutter on him, which Charlie confiscates. At first, the reader doesn't scan Dexter's thumbprint, but the third time is the charm, and the guy pretending to be a different dark passenger is let inside. Charlie and Dexter go up an elevator before landing on a floor that just screams wealth. Sitting at a fireplace is Leon Prater, who is very excited to meet the man he thinks is Red. Leon tells Dexter, Red, that his secrets are safe here. He's not a serial killer himself, just a big fan. It's like a super rich movie lover buying the chance to meet his favorite actors. An unimpressed Charlie leaves Leon and Dexter alone, where Prater shows off his serial killer memorabilia. He has a clown costume worn by John Wayne Gacy and the blood-stained fridge from Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment, just to name a few. He even has a hammer that belonged to Arthur Mitchell himself. And there it is too, the Bay Harbor Butcher's slides, and the table where the ice truck killer died. Prater also has memorabilia of serial killers that Dexter will be meeting tonight. When Dexter questions how this sanctuary could be found, his host shows off the elaborate security, which results in Charlie showing up with gun drawn if the wrong code is put in. Hello, foreshadowing. The first serial killer Dexter meets is Mia, known as Lady Vengeance, someone who takes out sexual predators. This intrigues Dexter, who silently wonders if she has a code. The exact opposite of the sophisticated Mia enters when a family man on his phone named Al walks in. With his big glasses and gregarious personality, he seems like a happy everyman. Arriving next is Lowell, a cocky man that Dexter looks at with suspicion, and a quiet killer played by David Dastmalchian. They talk a bit, but when a nervous Dexter sees the ghost of his father, he makes his exit to have a chat. Will Dexter kill these serial killers, he asks?
Dexter sticks to his code and kills a partygoer.
At dinner, Lowell shows off a slideshow of tattoos he loves from social media. Every tatted woman he shows is a potential new victim. Dex is disappointed that you can now stalk someone without leaving the house. For Dexter, Lowell is now at the top of his list. As the dinner ends, Charlie hands out phones so the guests can communicate with each other before they meet again in 2 weeks. Lowell says he'll have another trophy by then, but will Dexter stop him beforehand? Dexter and Mia meet up to go running in Central Park, where the fake Red asks a bunch of questions about Prater. She talks about his rules and how Charlie took out one killer for breaking them. They open up about the rageful urges they felt during childhood, and we learn why Mia goes after sex criminals. Her little sister was assaulted by one of her mom's boyfriends, so she took care of it in her own special and final way. Hitting it off, they go back to Mia's apartment where she excuses herself to take a shower. Rather than go in with her and have a fun time, Dexter knows this breaks his code, so he leaves.
After that, he meets Lowell at a bar, but he's too busy watching his new victim at a tattoo parlor across the street. "Tonight's the night," he says. Dexter needs to get ready to deal with him, and fast. At night, Lowell begins stalking his tattooed victim, but before he can knock her out with gas, Dexter apprehends him and takes his new friend to his kill table. Wanting to go back to basics, Dexter makes a slide of Lowell's blood. The tied-down killer mocks his trophy, so since this guy is about to die, the man who stands above him admits that he's not Ronald Schmidt, but the Bay Harbor Butcher. Afterward, in the car, Harry keeps pestering Dexter about going to his son. That leads to a big confession. What if Harrison wishes his dad were still dead? I don't get scared, but that scares the shit out of me. An unsympathetic Harry tells him to do something about it. He also wants to know what he's going to do when they get to the next party, and Lowell's not there. The new guy will be the top suspect.
Dexter finally reaches out to Harrison.
Angel Batista shows up in New York again looking for Dexter's truck. He tracks it down and discovers that Harrison gave it to his work friend. Angel introduces himself to Harrison at the hotel, acting friendly and reminiscing about Dexter. Harrison brings up his dad being shot and killed, but instead of correcting him, Angel says nothing. He gets to the point, though, that Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher. Harrison plays dumb, refusing to sell out the man he shot before leaving. Elsa sees a sullen Harrison walk away, and upon noticing Angel's badge, she gets the wrong idea and confronts him to say that Harrison had nothing to do with Ryan's murder. He has no idea what she's talking about, but now he's very interested. Later, Detectives Wallace and Oliva continue to talk about the Ryan Foster case when Angel Batista walks in. He wants to talk about the similarities between their case and the Bay Harbor Butcher. Uh-oh. Harrison hides Ryan Foster's watch in a safe to stop the infernal ticking that's driving him mad. He goes to Elsa's to not be alone, where they talk and laugh, and Elsa tells Harrison he can stay and sleep on the couch. He goes in for a kiss, only to get rejected and called a great friend. Ouch. At that, he's immediately out the door. Watching from afar the next day, Harry tells Dexter to stop focusing on his new friends and pay attention to Harrison. These are killers, not his pals. There is no escape for poor Harrison. At work the next day, a very serious Angel is waiting. He has questions about Ryan Foster. Batista goes right to the similarities between the Bay Harbor Butcher and Ryan's death. Angel doesn't see Dexter as some dark avenger. No, he's a guy who gets people killed. Looking heartbroken, Angel says that he hopes the son doesn't become like the dad. Walking out of the hotel, the words play in Harrison's mind over and over. Holding Ryan's watch, he calls Detective Wallace, ready to turn himself in, but gets a voicemail. Not giving up, Ryan heads straight to the police station, but before he can go in, the father he thinks is dead puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "Don't." Everything is about to radically shift on Dexter Resurrection.